Hello, everybody. Hey, Mika,
Hello.
can you hear
Hey,
me?
Leo. I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. Welcome.
Good morning
Thank you.
or afternoon.
Good afternoon. Yeah, it's afternoon here in Portugal, and you are on the West Coast, right?
Yeah, US West Coast, so just 8:04 a.m. So still my morning coffee.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks very much for joining at the crack of dawn. Uh, So basically, yeah, streaming this webinar live from two continents and welcome everybody. So it would be nice if you could drop some info about yourselves, just your name, your company, and maybe just a couple of lines about what you guys do, your business, and maybe just a couple of lines about, what you'd like to learn from this webinar. That'll be nice. So we're going to have a Q&A section at the very end. So basically, we're going to collect the questions from you all, and then at the very end, we're going to cover them. Let's say spend the last 15, 20 minutes for the Q&A. So just a quick round of intros. My name's Leo, and I'm based in Portugal, not far from Lisbon, and I'm heading up Albato. This is an no-code automation platform. So basically, we are in the space with Zapier, Workato, Make. I'm sure that rings a bell for some of you who automates stuff around sales and lead generation. We're also great admirers of Ample Market. So basically, we've been using Ample Market for almost 3 years, and Ample Market sits at the core of our sales engine. We use it for lead generation, data enrichment, and so on and so forth. But I'm gonna tell you a little bit more about this a bit later. So I've been in big tech for the last 20 years. So I used to head up sales and marketing teams in big tech companies such as HP, IBM, Microsoft, Booking.com. And in the last 4 years, I've been sitting mainly in the SaaS space, building and let's say scaling Albato, the automation platform. And now we're shifting rapidly into the AI space, just like everybody, no surprise here. And yeah, today we're going to talk about AI, what's happening in the AI space, and specifically in sales, and how basically the market is shifting from, buzzing about AI to actually using AI more pragmatically. Yeah, but first, Mika, I don't know if, yeah, probably some people don't know you. Would also be nice if you could introduce yourself for the audience.
I think it's very likely that they would know me, but my name is Mika. I'm one of the founders at Ample Markets. Ample Market in a nutshell is an AI sales platform. So we basically want to empower the quota carrying reps. So the sales teams that actually have a territory, a book of business, and who are tasked with starting, progressing, or closing conversations. And we basically empower them with data, multi-channel engagement, and AI, the big word. I've been in this space. We've launched Ample Market in 2020. So basically, we were born with COVID. I don't know, was born first, but I think our stories are very intertwined. And I've been in the sales space and kind of like applying AI to the sales space like for the past 5 years. We actually didn't start with calling it AI. We were actually doing machine learning, natural language processing, feature extraction, all of these like NLP models that we were building in-house. Just like the avenue of ChatGPT and then like OpenAI, Gemini, Anthropic models this so much faster for us. My background is not in sales whatsoever. I'm a physicist by training, so I was doing a PhD in high energy particle physics. I got into startups with my two co-founders. We kind of like just wanted to solve business problems, real life problems, and we got into startups and you know to just talk about like use a physics concept like Brownian motion got us here, meaning like it's kind of a random walk got us into understanding that sales was fundamentally broken and it should be better and it should be smarter, more sophisticated, and that's why we built Simple Market. But yeah, anyways, I'll stop babbling and I'll give it back to you.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Mika. Thank you for the introduction. Yeah, great background. I must say I didn't know you had a background in physics. Yeah, but that's super awesome. So yeah, basically the way we're going to structure the webinar. So first of all, we're going to talk about why AI is changing the SaaS landscape and specifically the sales motion. Because according to some hype makers and AI prophets, SaaS sales should have been 100% automated with AI by exactly right now. And here we are, sitting here talking about AI, but that didn't happen. Yeah. And in reality, 95% of enterprise AI investment have failed. I suggest that you guys check out the recent MIT study. I guess they published it just a couple of months ago. I can share the link, by the way, if you're interested. So basically, what they shared is some interesting insights that most organizations that were trying to bring AI into their sales and into their marketing, they were doing, they were making some mistakes. Yeah. So they were mainly looking at AI adoption among their employees and their internal teams rather than its actual impact on some measurable metrics like revenue, ROI, or cost reduction, and etc. Yeah, because I can tell from my personal experience. Yeah, we're in B2B sales and we're selling an integration solution to mainly to B2B SaaS companies. And it's a very long and complex sales process and sales cycle. And basically, for example, automating 100% of the sales flow is impossible. Yeah, because there are too many parts in this equation. Yeah, and it still requires human oversight. So basically, people went back to the drawing board and started brainstorming on what I love to call pragmatic AI. So how we can sort of, start using AI in a more systematic, result-oriented and task-specific way. Yeah. And that's where basically, this that new way, that new era, yeah, of copilots, yeah, came up because basically each copilot, yeah, and Duo, Ample Markets Duo is a very good example. Yeah, it's very, I would say it covers a very specific use case. Yeah, so basically it's trained to cover a very specific task where it makes the most impact, the most difference. Yeah, to help companies drive their sales, drive their lead generation, and so on and so forth. Yeah. So I'd say basically the biggest takeaway for me, yeah, for example, this year in 2025, yeah, that we really need to go back to the drawing board and change our mindset from hoping to make a AI revolution and automate everything at once with AI to, let's say, trying to figure out some specific tasks and specific use cases within our business, within our client's business that can be tackled with AI and do it, like I said, in a measurable and in a step-by-step way. Yeah. And trying to, let's say, put it into revenue perspective as well. So, Mika, what do you think? Can you share your take on that?
It's a very good points. I would tend to agree with like with your points, and especially the first one where like like there's like a lot of like budgets being deployed and kind of like I have yet to find like a team that is truly like using AI, at least like in sales, right? So like I think if you look at depends on like again if we're talking about AI in sales, is really I've yet to find like a team that's very sophisticated in the usage of AI. I think where you see the most usage right now for that, like I think it's the if you think about like these calls being recorded and being transcribed and insights getting out of these calls, I think that's the one use case that we see kind of like okay, you can actually create a transcript and then create some insights from the transcript, and I think this is pervasive across the board. I think that every single company is using AI this way to actually summarize and get insights out of calls. But that's most of it, right? So I don't think, if you think about like the big players in the sales space, like companies like ZoomInfo, Outreach, SalesLoft, they've really failed to innovate or to really be AI first companies, right? And I'm talking about companies that are just like in their cumulative are doing $2 billion in ARR. Um, you kind of like need to think about. I like to think about AI in a very trans or invisible way. I want our users to be using a lot of AI without even realizing that they're using AI.
100%. 100%.
Right? I think people think about like, oh, I use AI if I go, if I AI and like you see a lot of products. The implementation of AI needs they follow the ChatGPT implementation. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, oh, I need to talk with something about something to actually just get inside out of that. I think, yeah, that's ChatGPT, like for the specific use case, the search, the question use case. But we at Ample Market really think about like embedding a lot of like really sophisticated AI without you even realizing that you're interacting with AI, right? All of these things are just like so easily embedded into your workflows. And to your point, I've yet to find, I'm biased, right? I'm building Ample Market some teams with AI, and we have a lot of stories to prove it. But I think putting AI into the reps' workflows without disrupting their workflows, making it like really invisible is how we like to think about things. And so I think a lot about like, to your point, last year was the year of like the AI SDR. So it was the year that the SDR was actually be going to disappear because like AI was going to take over. And then last year, we at Ample Market took a very strong stance against all of that. We said, no, 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 we don't believe in that at all. Like, and you can go to our website when you say AI, it's like the future of sales is AI plus human. We believe in kind of like AI empowering humans because we don't believe that most sales are not transactional. Like most sales are not about swiping a credit card. Most sales are about like discovering value, understanding solutions, and really building trust between like two entities, two corporations, right? And
Especially in B2B.
especially in B2B, right? So like again, you're like a lot of these people making like some of these decisions are actually betting their careers, right? On a startup like Albato or a startup like Ample Market, right? Because they're looking to drive some business outcomes. They're not just looking to swipe. Transactional sales, yeah, it's even debatable whether you should have like a salesperson do transactional sales, right? It's just marketing, like PLG and then like close. But we really believe that it's fundamentally wrong. Like the salesperson is always going to be the mediator of like trust between entities. And it's so interesting because like take a look at other things like parallel dialers. The growth of parallel dialers really shows you that the sales rep is not going anywhere because like the success of parallel dialers is showing you those are being manned by people. So it's sales reps that are actually calling, not AIs that are actually calling. So I believe like again we talk a lot like a lot of companies even like the legacy players talk about a lot about like being AI first if you go to their websites. But if you really take a look at their products, they're really not AI first. They're really not like really empowering teams to actually do new sophisticated workflows. Our take is to really just make it very invisible and then like, provide a lot of really advanced account research, really advanced intent signals like every 24 hours. Really understand all of your exchanges via email, via social selling, via cold calling, and really then embed those like seamlessly into your workflows so that you're kind of like being a more sophisticated rep without even realizing it. So like and we give you a lot of power. Like our take is to give power to the rep. Just let the rep in the end like be a curator of like what the AIs are actually working on for them. But AIs are much better than us at keeping context of all the things that are happening. Everything, like we live in a world where like information overflow, right? How can we keep up with everything that is happening, right? But AIs are really good at that. So they can actually parse the web, every 24 hours for all of the most relevant signals that happen. They can actually take a look at our CRM, right? And so the point of integrations, right? Just being integrated in all of my workflows to understand everything that is relevant to me that is happening, and then help me make sense of all of that data and present that data to me every 24 hours and let me make my own informed human decisions, if you want. But that needs to be seamless. It's not like, I we don't believe in you going somewhere and then just typing prompts. No, no, no. It's kind of like we know who you are. We know what your company does. We know your desired outcomes. We know that your BDR, SDR, AEAM, like they have like different desired outcomes. You can still like nudge the AI and give it like specific prompts that you want to accomplish. But then the idea is to kind of like reinforcement learn from you and from your behavior as you're using the platform so that we nail the most personalized AI that will actually make you the most sophisticated and most successful rep possible. Yeah. Easier
From
said
your
than done. Easier said than done, FYI.
100%, 100%. Thanks a lot for sharing. In your experience, what are the most critical blockers or bottlenecks in AI adoption, let's say for Ample Markets customers?
I think again, if they're not using ample market, the most or like and we typically displace again like ZoomInfo's outreaches, like Sales Lofts, Cognizant's, like some of these vendors. I think the biggest thing that I see is like disjointed tech stack. Meaning you have a tech stack that is kind of, you want to apply AI with a specific tool, but then like your signals live here, your data lives there, your CRM is here, your lead gen is here, your multi-channel, your email is here, your calling is here, and then like your social selling is here. So these are all like freaking different systems. And there's no way for like, you can try to embed like AI here with like account research or account personalization. But the problem is kind of like it's another system that you need to plug into all of these systems, and they're kind of like not really connected. And that's one of the problems. Like so, like just the tech stack being too disjointed, it's so freaking hard to actually now like put a layer of AI on top of all of it. Um, I think that's what I see, and I see a lot of people kind of like using again, as I said, AI at the bottom, meaning like call recording, etc., call insights, and trying to get like AI at the top. But the problem with that is kind of like they connect it to their CRM, and then by the time that lead or that signal is actually actioned, what happens is you completely lose the context, the initial context, the initial signal that you're going to reach out to that person about. Like what was like you go from like a very colorful, like beautiful story that you want to tell to that lead into that account into like just a black and white, very bland story. Because by just moving the lead and the signal across all of these systems, you've kind of like lost a lot of like the richness of the signal. That's one. Those are some of the things that I see. I don't know. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, yeah, I would say so. Yeah, definitely. I have another question. So basically, if we take a step back and look at sales and outreach at a higher level, yeah, so you can sort of, break it up by, let's say, two, three phases. Yeah.
Mhm.
So phase one, it's, what happens behind the scenes. So basically, it's all about prospecting, data management. So putting together prospect lists, enrichment. So all that, data management and so on and so forth. Yeah. Then there's, let's say, um, ideation around, messages, campaigns. So basically, you're trying to come up like with, you know, some pain points, yeah, and some, let's say, a good idea that that you can basically translate into impactful campaign, yeah, that you're gonna outreach, yeah. And then of course you get like personalization, messaging, and real-time conversations with your leads, yeah. So let's say we got all those phases, yeah. Where do you think, and from again from Ample Markets experience, where do you think AI and AI copilots can really move the needle and make the most impact?
It's hard for me to choose one because I think it's really across the board, right? It's kind of like to go back to that story, like the colorful story. Like your personalization here really starts at the top with the reason why did I choose Leo to reach out to? Like because I got some signal from like my CRM, and I got some signal from some public news about Albato. I connected both of these, and then I'm plugging them into like a sequence. Now I understand that I'm connected with Leo on LinkedIn, and then we actually exchange a lot of messages there. So actually my Copilot is actually going to suggest that I just connect with you on LinkedIn, and then it actually knows, okay, this happened. This is my last conversation with Leo here in the CRM. This is what happened publicly. So it's actually nudging me to write the most personalized message to you. So that personalization without context, right? It doesn't mean anything. So you have like a really context-rich signal. And I think really AIs help like across the board here, like on the data side, meaning to help you parse the web, like in all of these, if you own 500 accounts, and like you have, I don't know, 4 or 5 potential like entry points into those accounts. There's like 2,500 people that you need to monitor every single day for their activities. There's like another 500 accounts and all of the news that you need to monitor across those accounts. Did they raise money? Did they expand into a new territory? Are they opening up a new team? Do they have like headcount growth that is relevant to me? All of these things are really hard to kind of like keep track of, like just on the data side. So like, but AI can actually do that for you, right? And just nudge you every time there's a delta, there's a change there for you. Then AI also owns your channels of communication, so your first party data. So it can actually understand context and like that you and I have exchanged messages, or that you and I have um, have exchanged our phone numbers, and then it can actually start like suggesting that, look, your proximity to Leo seems to be higher than your proximity to another person. So potentially, you shouldn't approach him like with a cold email. You just like start a text message to Leo, and
Yeah.
then like the content of the text message goes back to the initial why I decided
Yeah, yeah.
to
Because
reach out
because
to
for
him.
example, you two have a shared context or a shared communication history or something. Yeah.
So, for example, this signal, like what we're just doing right now, like being streamed like out there, like it's going to be something that Ample Markets AI could actually pick up. Like, oh, Albato and Mika, they were actually doing this thing, right? So we're creating a signal out there for it to be captured, right? So ideally, I would actually be able to capture these things, especially if you're an account I would like
Oh, you mean a
to reach
signal
out to.
from this webinar?
Yeah, yeah. For example, huh? So it should be possible that just from first principles, right? It's just we are both someone that wants to reach out to you and someone that wants to reach out to me. They should really leverage what we're talking about here to then create a context-rich conversation. Does that make sense? Like I think like it's again parsing the data, but once you parse the data, you have the context-rich information that you can actually plug into the personalization. So for I can't really distinguish both. I think once you solve one, you can actually solve for the other, if that makes sense, right? So like once you know why I want to reach out to this account and this person right now, then you create the how, and the why gets into the how, like which is like the personalization or the copy creation.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. However, I'm a little bit concerned about how people tend to use those signals. For example, just a week ago, someone reached out to me on LinkedIn, and with their connection request, there was also a message, yeah, saying like, "Hey, I'm looking forward to your webinar on November 4th." And
Okay.
that's it. Let's connect. Yeah. And then she started pitching
Pitching.
her
Yeah.
services. So basically, I don't think she did like a good job into, let's say, digging a little bit deeper into the context that could have been
Yeah.
a good way to start a
Yep.
conversation and, to spark this connection.
So,
So
but the
she
start
only
was good.
scratched,
But the
yeah,
start
she
was, do you
only,
know what I mean? The start was good. Like the fact that she picked up there's going to be a webinar, it's kind of like, okay, why? Okay, cool. Like so you're going so like the segue to pitching straight away, that's bad, right? So like she
yeah,
should
she
like
didn't
just
she didn't build a good connection.
Mhm.
She just scratched the surface. Yeah, she took the signal,
Yeah,
but then there wasn't like a good bridging, a good connection
I agree.
to the
I
rest of
agree.
her. Yeah.
I agree.
So do you think that basically that was kind of another? I'm a bit skeptical about AI being a good tool for building, let's say, end-to-end personalized messages with a good how do I call them, like, bridging, like
Mhm.
with a good linking
Mhm.
between, let's say, some kind of signal like, hey, you're going to have a webinar on November 4th. Yeah. But then we need, like, to somehow move into the, not pitching, but just maybe just talking about a product or some kind of a pain point or some kind
Yep.
of a gap or an opportunity. Because we've tried AI for this a couple
Mhm.
of times, yeah, but we haven't had great success for this. So the messages that we ended up with, they were very clunky and just like that guy who sent me that message. Hey, you're gonna have a webinar. Now I'm gonna tell you about my product. So
I
how do you deal with this, or how do you build this with an ample market?
Yeah. So first of all, I think it's fully doable. I use myself like not only Ample Market, but like just when I'm writing things, I just write them and then I ask AI for feedback, right? So I'm just like, I really do like every single day. Like I'm writing something, even like or a memo for the team. I'm like, okay, cool. Like I'm missing something here. Like help me with feedback here. So I actually use AIs to help me write a lot and help me think a lot. So I think they will make you a better writer on average, right? So better write, like there's like if you think about the distribution, there's like some amazing writers, but like I think everybody's kind of like average, so it can actually make you better. I think the segue there, it's just like I think it's just like a problem. Maybe I don't know how I don't know what they were using. I don't know how they instantiating their AI, but they're it's like the old classic mistake of like the sales rep, meaning that's not what you saw there is not an AI mistake. They might not have been using any AI. It's just a rep that like wants to go for the close straight away. It's a classic, that's a very classic mistake. Instead of like building trust and just like being patient, right? Doing some discovery and adding value to the conversation before they even ask something, they connect with you because they
I,
found something.
I'm
Go
sorry for interrupting. What I was trying to say, if I let AI handle 100% of my messages,
on. Uh-huh.
say, and I just, let it run on autopilot without checking those messages. So it might craft messages that would, kind of resemble the one that I got from that guy. So that's
I
my
think it's a
point.
prompt, but that's a prompt. My point is more, it's a prompting thing. That guy is
Mm.
just like the way that he prompted his AI is potentially the way that they sell themselves, right? What is the status quo? Like the status quo is like you're using outreach templates. So meaning like you and like many or more people are actually receiving the exact same message, right? Is that better or worse? Like debatable, right? I think it's worse. Now they did a good job in terms of like picking up the signal. They didn't do a good job in terms of like telling you the story. By the fact that you interacted there, what AI could actually have learned from that person is kind of like taking a look at all of their interactions. It would actually tell them, "Hey man, like you're always pitching too hard. Just calm down. You've started the conversation because you're pitching too hard. You're losing your leads. Your ability to start a conversation is amazing, but I don't even think that was AI potentially within that message. Like it could have been just a person, meaning just like calm down, like and do more discovery. Just be more patient with the deal. Like if you take a look at, I was a young seller at some point. I was doing that exact. I know exactly that mistake. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm in. No, let's pitch straight away. I need a call, right? So like, right. So like those things, those are like human
I
mistakes.
know.
But I think the way to do that is kind of you can nudge the AI. Like for example, like my AI would be better or would be different than yours. Meaning like I'm not pushy. I don't want to drive for the close. I'm just like I'm very concise. I don't want big emails. I'm just like straight to the point. I want like one or two sentence emails because that's how I like people to reply back to me. So I'm very straight to the point, very concise, and I try to just not be a full-on like a salesperson. But some of my reps might find success with like being just like a more of a storyteller, etc. But like your AI is going to be like you. But like the cool thing about this is that interaction AI can learn from and say, you lost Leo, you started really well, you opened the conversation, and by the way, you opened 90% of your conversation, so you're an amazing conversation opener. But to progress your conversation, you're doing a poor job here. So we need to understand what's happening between like the point that you open a conversation and the point where you lose the conversation. And that might be, okay, that might be, as it might be like the rep that is actually involved in trying to drive for the close too fast, right? Um, but I think if you ask me, like, again, I'm a proponent of like having humans and AIs collaborating, right? And like humans learning from AIs and AIs learning from humans, right? Very much the same way that I do a lot of like my work. I'm learning from AI as like as I would love for my AIs to actually learn more from me. It still annoys me that Claude or ChatGPT still kind of like, oh my God, I still need to tell them who I am and about all of these priorities. And so like at Ample Market, what we want to do with Duo is Duo will learn from all of your little actions. Duo will learn from your successes and your failures. And so eventually it will start like really giving you interesting insights so that ideally you're sending less volume, but you're sending higher quality of outreach that converts better. And I really believe that that's possible. Like, and I'm not, and again, I'm not a proponent of like, yeah, switch on an AI, like AI is blasting, because that's like, by the way, and that's the world. Like, zoom info to outreach blast with template. That's basically what's happening. And it's like you have 500 people receiving the exact same email, apart from like company name and first name as like a dynamic field, right? And I think that's like one of the mistakes that people made. They're like, oh, AI is going to make the number of emails go up. Or sales emails go up. It's not like, it's just like the distribution has been, the number of sales emails have been going up over time. There's no bump because of AI. And the interesting thing is kind of like just the distribution. If you think about like a full-on distribution, it shifted a little bit more where it looks more personalized on average, but just a little bit more, right? So like the really good emails were already very good because they were kind of like crafted by humans. Now like the really good emails are humans plus AI assisted. So like they can become really, really, really good because AI is actually giving you all of the signals from the CRM, all of the signals from your past conversation, right? All of these things. Hey, like I'm not saying that like it's not possible for a human to do. It is. It would take them like 30 minutes or so. Like right now, like you can actually get all of these insights when you're actually working on like some templates or some draft with an AI. But I don't think like copy just on average, it's my take. I don't think it's gotten worse, as I don't think it's gotten much better. If you're just using it like, if you just instantiate AI in a poor way, you're getting poor results, right? Now, if
Yeah,
you instantiate it better, like you'll get better
garbage,
results.
garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
exactly.
what they say.
So yeah, if
Yeah,
you've ever played with machine learning models like or data, like you'll know that, right? So
yeah. I agree 100%. And basically, what you just mentioned is also reminded me of an automation that we built on Albato. So I just wanted to show it to everybody. So this is our platform, yeah, and this is the automation that we've built. So basically, it's we built kind of you can call it an AI copilot that evaluates the performance of our account executives. So I'm pretty sure that you guys have, something similar on Ample Market. So basically, we're using a note taker, Sybil. It's like Gong, or so it captures meeting transcripts, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And then we're sending it to Gemini for call evaluation. And then what we've learned that sometimes Gemini, just one AI assistant, yeah, sometimes struggle to capture the whole context. Yeah. So what we did is we add more steps. Yeah. So basically, we add a ChatGPT step to that reevaluates the output from Gemini. So they're kind of, working together, reevaluating one another. And then the result was, so cool. Yeah. So basically, after each meeting, we get a Slack report that looks like this. Yeah. And it's a big report. So basically, we're checking the AE's performance against the playbook. Yeah, so qualification, blah, 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 blah. And then here you see there's reassessment. So this is like the second AI reevaluates the first AI. And
Mhm,
here's the adjusted evaluation conclusion. So, and this is so much better uh, you know, than we had before when we were using just one
mhm,
AI agent,
mhm,
right? So basically, one thing that I also learned when it comes to copilots and agents, yeah, the more you slice them,
mhm,
yeah, and basically the more you kind of granular uh, you you make the tasks for them, yeah, uh, the better they execute. So if basically, there's the popular concept of agentic cruise, yeah. So they really work better than, one agent that tries to just handle everything, yeah, like in real life. And also circling back to my point about, remember I told you that sales and outreach, yeah, it includes a few phases. Like in the very first phase is prospecting, yeah. So we're putting together a prospect list, yeah, we're handling data, and basically we're now we've built an AI copilot at Albato, and we're using Ample Market very extensively inside that copilot. So basically, we've automated our lead enrichment and validation workflow 100%. Yeah. So the very first step is we just upload the list of company domains to this, we called it AI orchestrator. Yeah.
mhm,
And then this whole flow just happens automatically. Yeah. And there's an AI orchestrator, like an agent, that basically controls the entire flow, making sure that each step is executed according to the prompt, yeah, and according to the checklist. And there's even another AI agent that validates the final output, the final data set, and flags issues, yeah, so that we can, double check and rectify some data in the data set. And basically, this whole machine, it's a combination of AI. So we're using Gemini Pro model, yeah. Then we're also using scrapers. So for example, we scrape leads website, yeah, and then we feed it into AI to check website content, identify, let's say the type of business, the product, the vertical, everything that we need to perform AI scoring, yeah. And then we do what we call ICP traffic lights, yeah. So we've came up with four traffic lights, yeah. So the green are like the
Interesting.
highest
Why
value.
4 versus 3? I'm curious.
Sorry, say that again.
Why 4 versus 3?
Um, I don't know. Maybe it has to do, with the fact that we have a pretty narrow, the pretty narrow addressable market in B2B SaaS. So basically, sometimes when we need to expand our list, yeah, we also target the orange ones.
Mm.
It it's just, it's just happened.
I got it.
Yeah. And of course, Ample Market sits at the core. So we're using it for the initial company enrichment here. Yeah, for the persona enrichment, for the additional enrichment. And once we get the outreach ready data set at the very end of this flow, yeah, we're also automatically uploading it to Ample Market to run a sequence. Yeah. So, and just to remember, I said that when experimenting with AI, yeah, we need to adopt this mindset of measurable outcomes. Yeah. And for this webinar specifically, I really, did my best to measure the outcome. So basically, this is what we had before AI Orchestrator. So it really took us, more than 2 weeks of back and forth with sending data sets and checking endless Google Sheets and merging and so on and so forth. So, and basically we tried to estimate, yeah, and that's the number we got, that on average, launching a campaign cost us, our company, on average, a 10K of, and wasted time.
Mm.
That's a lot, yeah. And for example, we might launch, I don't know, 3, 4 campaigns a month. Yeah, that's a huge loss, right? And not to mention that our prospect would get generic messages, and our BDRs would end up chasing low-valued leads because we didn't have a good scoring. So we would try to score leads, but of course at scale that wouldn't work. And with AI Orchestrator and of course Sample Market running at the core of our AI automation, yeah, this is what it looks like now, the results. So basically, we've killed all birds with one stone. Yeah, so we reduced the time to launch a campaign to 2, 3 days on average. So we stopped just, wasting hours to, like I said, back and forth with Google Sheets, data sets, manual checks, and et cetera, et cetera. And now we're chasing the right leads, yeah, because we have a fully automated ICP scoring, yeah. And the next steps, and this is something that we're thinking about. So we want to add a couple of AI agents to this framework. So the first one, we want to add it on top here. So basically now we need to manually upload the company domains to initiate this workflow, right? But what if we could just have it run automatically? Yeah. What if, for example, once we get a good signal from Duo, yeah, we could feed it to this machine right away. Yeah. And then we would just get like an outreach ready lead that we could sequence. Of course, for that, we would need a webhook. Yeah, from Duo. I'm not sure if you expose Duo as a webhook, maybe not yet.
Not yet, not yet.
All right, that's just a thought,
But
food
that's
for
but
thought.
no, but
Yeah,
it is a common request, FYI. So yeah, but not yet.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, and also we're working on an automated lead gen agent. Yeah. So basically, we're going to be, scraping some relevant platforms. that are, that just serve as a good source of leads for us, also feeding them to this machine. And then there's going to be another agent at the bottom of this flow, which we call the lookalike agent. So imagine if you have a company that is like 100% your ICP, and then you feed it back to AI and you say, hey, find me another 20 companies that are like super similar to this one. So basically, and then you can really build an endless loop. Yeah. So you get elites with a good green scoring here at the bottom, and then you feed them to the lookalike, and you get another 20, 50, 100 leads that are most similar to the ones that were scored with the highest score, right? And then you feed them back again here to enrich, qualify, validate, and you get another batch of high value leads right away. So that's something that we have in mind. So I just wanted to share it with everybody.
Love
It's
that.
something that we've been working on. And like I said, Ample Market, has been, let's say the core, um, the core tool in this equation.
Mm. Regarding like your request on the dual signals, it's definitely something that like we've received as kind of like having like those signals kind of like be fed as like an API. It's like something that is in the feature request, and it's not like yet mapped to like an ETA on the roadmap, but I believe like we'll be working on that in the coming months.
Awesome. Awesome. So, what do you think basically the AI copilots and specifically in the sales and outreach space will look like, let's say, in the next, I wouldn't say, in the next 2, 3 years because nobody knows. Yeah. Nobody has a clue. Yeah. But let's say, over the next few months or 2026. So what do you see as, let's say, the next big thing coming up, or maybe something that you guys been cooking
Yeah.
on Ample Market? Yeah, of course, not sharing anything confidential, but something to get everybody excited.
So, yeah, it's tough to actually understand where I can tell you where we're going, meaning like what our take is in terms of like
Hmm.
like given like market conditions, given like the job of the salesperson, given like technology and where we want to go. Um, we believe that like it's going to be it's so interesting and making back the point to something that you showed earlier, where you kind of like using Gemini and then like asking OpenAI for feedback, etc. It's like you're almost model agnostic, right? You care about there's like an outcome that you want to deliver, and for that outcome to be delivered, you really don't care about what model you're using. You just care about like, hey, is this the best possible outcome? Like because and I think that's even truer for other users that are not even choosing models. Like I think people in
But
sales will not care. Go.
the truth is that different models might generate different outcomes.
They
So
do. They do, but it's not the responsibility of the SDR to know that. It's my
no, no,
responsibility.
no, 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 that's for sure. Yeah.
And so like so for Ample Market in our backend, we have all models, all of them. Like we use, we have Anthropic, we have OpenAI, we have Gemini, and we even have like open source models because some models are much better at specific tasks. So if you think about like a lead research task is so different than a copywriting task, right? An enrichment task is kind of like very different than again, like a sequence building task. And it's so interesting because like we are constantly testing. Every time a new model comes out, we test them against like the state of the art at Ample Market, and we score them. So we have all of these internal evals, if you want, to make sure that we have the best model for the best task because we want to deliver the best value to the user. And the user
Mhm.
should not be, again, you're smart, so you can actually be context switching. And like a GTM engineer, someone that is building these integrations with Albato, like they will be smart. But in the end, for us, like, and we think a lot about the sales rep, they're not like, and they should be, right? It's not like the core part of their job. But we believe a lot in kind of like, again, making that invisible to them. And really, the thing that we want to build is kind of like the co-pilot, the agents, like the group of agents that will know them best. I really want them to feel that Jesus Christ, this app really knows me. Every time I come here, I get a curated feed of the most relevant things that happen. Imagine like you get a most curated feed for everything that is like professionally relevant to you every 24 hours as you log into Ample Market. The best signals that happen across all of your accounts. like some updates from like first party data because the CSM talked with one of your accounts and there's an expansion opportunity that now comes to you because you can't keep track of first party signals. Someone that joined like a new Slack channel where they mentioned like your company or like some problems related to you, and then you bring that back to you. But also like the AI that learns from you, that really you don't need to instantiate it all the time. So it's really like, oh, Jesus Christ, like yeah, perfect copy. To your point, perfect copy, perfect sequence. Oh, it really know. How can it know that actually Leo and I have exchanged messages on WhatsApp? It's crazy. Like, but it's like that's like what that's where we want to go, is kind of like driving more towards like the AI that is kind of like continuously learning from the actions of the reps, and that becomes like uniquely tailored to that one specific salesperson. But if you think about like teams that have like, I don't know, hundreds of reps globally, and we do have customers like that have like hundreds of reps all across like multiple time zones, it's so interesting because like you can actually level up all of the reps, right, to the best rep by just understanding key insights that they have about the company or value props, etc., that I can, you know, shareable across the organization. And so you can actually level them up all the while keeping all of their unique identities still like very independent and unique, right? So, uh, in Ample Market, we have people that love cold calling, we have people that love like researching, we have people that love social selling, and they all hit their quotas with slightly different approaches. But ideally, their AI should know that this is the social seller. So, like LinkedIn is going to be my channel. This is the cold caller. So, I really want to just give them the
Mm,
best possible cold calling scripts, and that's what we want to go. Like, I believe that
I,
in the near future, that's like if you think about like you using Anthropic, Claude, or like Gemini or like ChatGPT, I don't know if you have this, but I used it for many personal use cases, and it's so annoying that it's kind of like it forgets about things. Like, Jesus Christ, I've been using this for years now, but now you should know this very simple thing about me. And we want to change that. We really want to kind of like apply reinforcement learning here to the job of a salesperson, and really building that AI that is like super bespoke to them. Whenever they go to another thing, not only will they find like a platform that doesn't know them, but where like the workflows are also disjointed. And so it's going to be so hard for them to kind of do their job. And it's kind of like, I really believe in that. I really believe like if you think about uh, I think this is a shift like the one that we saw for the internet, right? Internet really changed the way that we distribute software. For example, just talking about software, like you used to have to put your body inside like a tube that we call a plane to fly from here to, I don't know, to Lisbon to sell to someone in Lisbon. Then you would come back, put a server or like CDs into the plane again, and you're distributing like bits by distributing atoms, like, right? So your distribution channels were like just much slower. And now like with the internet, it became like not only like faster, but like you could actually do like one to many. And that just understanding that way to distribute software, and understanding like how AI can actually change the way that you distribute software in a world that is becoming noisier, where the job of the salesperson is becoming harder because everybody has been spamming everybody else for the past 20 years. Like again, the spam machines that were invented back in 2012, I think, like TowTap, yes, where we could actually go into the history of sales, but those were kind of like the the mass blasting like email automation machines. AI is not about that. AI is kind of like should be about creativity and sophistication. You can, if you're creative, AI can help you craft even better sequences and copy, and you can come across as more sophisticated. You're choosing the right channel for that person. You're never starting from scratch. It feels like we're always starting from scratch, right? When you're doing
right.
sales, always starting from scratch. Are you going to
Yeah.
reach out to me? Like you always start. Man, we've had a conversation live. You've exchanged messages with me on WhatsApp. Why would you start? Why would you reach out to me like it was like a cold email? Just like don't. And that to do that, you need to have like an AI that kind of like understands who you are, understands your communication channels, owns them, like, and understands like all of your CRM data, so that every time you're starting something, it always feels like very context rich. And so if you think about any company that is kind of like mature, their CRM is full of that data. Their CRM is full of stories, but they always start from scratch. Always. Like they always start from scratch, even to the people, even reaching out to people that sales rep had a call with like 3 months ago. And that's because like AIs are kind of like not yet learning and plugged into all of your workflow. So we want to, again, on all of these workflows, on all of your data, and kind of like reinforcement learn your Copilots. And I believe like if you want to geek out, like I believe that I always think about Ample Market as Tinder for sales. We are in the business of matchmaking, right? I'm in the business, and I'm like I never use
That
Tinder, but
that's
I
a very good
understand.
positioning then. Yeah, that's a very good positioning.
Right? So we give you signals, leads, and you decide which ones you want to swipe right or left on, right? So like, but basically, if you think about that, like and if you think about 5, 10 years, I think AIs, we're all, you and I and everybody will have like executive assistants, right? Virtual assistants, like we're now seeing even like humanoid robots, like, and I believe that in 15, 20 years, we'll all have like, these assistants at home, but like virtual assistants will be a thing. And I think virtual assistants, they will know you and I, and every Sunday night they will come and they'll say, "Hey Leo, what are your priorities for this month and for this week?" And then you'll talk with your assistant, like, "This is the thing that I want to accomplish, and my main goals." And then like basically they're owning your mailbox. They kind of like, you let them own some of your communications. And so like what we have is like my sales AI is going to connect to your assistant AI, and they will actually start connecting us. And your AI will ask questions, qualifying questions to my AI. My AI will provide answers to your AI. On your end, I might say, "Hey Leo, like there's this thing that's actually matching one of your priorities, and this Mika guy like reached out. Like, would it make sense to connect? Like, I'm suggesting like a meeting on Wednesday," and you say yes. And so like you and I get matched, but like it's almost like we're offloading like the most important decision of our lives. I believe, like if not top three decisions of our life, which is getting married, to like just non-AI algorithms. Like we're being match made through Tinder, and then like I know friends that got married that way. Why not do the same for like business decisions that kind of like, it's just like we're starting a conversation right there. And I believe that like eventually like AIs will just be matchmakers if you want. They will just connect us, but you and I will still like, have a call and talk about like your challenges and the potential solutions that we have or we don't have. We'll just exchange trust, and ultimately we'll decide whether or not like we want to work together. And I believe I believe in that future. Yeah. Anyways,
Yeah,
that's long.
that sounds
Sorry.
very inspiring. Your vision, and yeah, I mean, we're eye to eye on this totally. And as we don't have much time left, so there's just, like sort of a cherry on top that I wanted to share with everybody. So I'm gonna share my screen again. Can you see my screen?
I can.
Awesome. Just building on your point, Mika, that Ample Market is, a AI matchmaking tool for sales. Yeah. That helps people, find the right leads. So basically, the direction that we at Albato are moving is pretty much the same. So we also want to be, an AI matchmaking platform, but
Mhm.
for integrations. Yeah.
Mhm.
So just like you said, one of the problem, and that was at the very beginning of the webinar, you mentioned that, yeah,
Mhm.
is that is holding back the adoption of sales automation and AI specifically is disjointed tech stack,
Mhm.
right? And disjointed data. Of course, the integrations are getting better, the MCPs are getting better, the agents are learning to talk to each other, yeah, more natively. And basically, we are trying to basically drive that change on the market. So just to give you an idea, so this is Albato, right? This is our platform. And yeah, previously, if you were to build an automation around Ample Market, for example, yeah, because by the way, Ample Market has a great API, yeah. So Ample Market is an all-in-one platform, but whatever is not available inside Ample Market, yeah, you can easily automate it, outside, yeah, with tools like Albato. So, but still, I would need to go to, the automation builder that I'm now showing on the screen, and it's a bit of a hassle. So I would need to set up a trigger. I would need to figure out the automation logic. So basically, I would need to build this whole thing, and that takes time and effort. Yeah. So what we're doing now is just like you guys are building virtual assistants for sales reps, right? So we are building virtual assistants for people who want to automate and integrate, their sales flows, right? So instead of doing what I just showed you here, yeah, we want you guys to do this. So basically, you're gonna have a AI copilot here, yeah. And by the way, this is a premiere, so I haven't showed this in public yet. So this is the first time. So please bear with me. And if anything crashes, let's just pretend it's like a cool hidden feature, okay? So yeah, because it's not even out for beta yet. So we've been alpha testing that in the last few weeks. So, and instead, I can just chat with the Copilot and I can tell it, hey, I want to create and configure the automation. Yeah. So, for example, when I get a new email reply from Ample Market, yeah. So what I want to do, I want to send an email to Gmail, and then I'm just put my email and then use the fields from Ample Market, yeah. And then I want to send a Slack notification, yeah. Uh, just for you guys to understand, yeah, here I'm kind of cheating a little bit. Yeah, because this is a prompt from an experienced user like I am. So, but we're working on our Copilot as we speak. Yeah. So very soon it will talk to users in a very, in layman's terms. Yeah. So basically you'd be able to say, hey, I just want to make it work. Whenever I get a lead on Ample Market, just send me a Slack notification and send me an email. That's it. Yeah. And then the Copilot will do the rest. But for now, just for the sake of this demo, I'm giving it a little bit more precise instruction. Yeah. So let's just see how it works in action. So I'm sending the prompt, right? Yeah, I'll help you create this automation. Let me start by signing up. What would you like to name it? Yeah. Okay. Let's name it uh, Mika's favorite automation. So it's creating the automation as we speak. Just refresh the page. Yeah, you see, it's right here. So it was created by AI, so I didn't have to do it.
Nice.
Yeah. And let's see what's happening inside. Oh, you see, so it's setting up steps right now, live. See, configuring Gmail action fields. Just let's give it a couple more minutes. Yeah, so you see it's setting up the fields to, from, subject, email body, from Ample Market. So it now moved on to adding the Slack action, basically the last piece of our automation. Adding Slack action, great, I found your Slack connection. This is the correct one. Slack action added. So let me just refresh. So like I said, it's a pre-beta version. So in production, it will update automatically. I mean, the UI will be updated automatically. So automation complete. Yeah, and now let's check if it works. So basically, Ample Market works with webhooks. Yeah. So right now, I just need to fire a test webhook from Ample Market. Yep. So we just caught it on Albato, but that was just a test. And now we can launch our automation. Yeah. So now I'm going to fire another webhook just to see how it works, in action. So I'm jumping to the history tab where we can see basically, everything that's happening. within our workflow. So now we're gonna give it like a minute because we're waiting for the webhook from Ample Market. It might take, a few seconds or maybe a couple of minutes. So in the meantime, I can probably check if we have any questions from the people. Oh, there was a question. Uh, yeah, it was probably about the orchestrator that I showed. What's the cost to run such lead enrichment workflow? What kind of SaaS subscriptions are required? So the first and the most important one is Ample Market because we're using it for data enrichment and for sequencing. Then we're using a couple more. So for example, we're using Zenrose for website scraping, but it's super cheap. Yeah, it's like $50 a month or something like that. Then you would need a AI subscription, ChatGPT or Gemini. But again, we spend maybe $100 a month, so it's really cheap. Um, what else? Yeah, I guess this is it. And then maybe some hosting costs. So basically, we host this whole beast on our internal server. So yeah, there are some hosting costs involved, but again, it's maybe $100 or something. So actually, yeah, it's not that expensive. Yeah, it was much more expensive, before we actually built it, and doing all of that manually was much more expensive. So yeah, hooray, drum roll, we just captured the webhook from Ample Market. Yeah, and basically, just to wrap up, let's go to my mailbox. So that's the email that we just received from Ample Market. Yeah. And then I'm gonna go to Slack because here I have a test channel. Ta-da! So yeah, we also received our dummy notification. So basically our automation worked
Hmm.
as expected. And the best part that it was built 100% by AI Copilot. Yeah. And that's like I said, that's just the beginning. So that's the very first version of our Copilot. And it will be getting better and better. And probably in a couple of months, it will be just much, much more powerful and versatile. And by the way, if anybody of you guys want to, participate in a closed beta, so please drop a comment in the chat. So there's a form that I'm going to share with you. Yeah, so you can just leave your first name, last name, email, and you're welcome. Yeah, we'll give you access to our Copilot for free, and you can test it. You can share your feedback. So you're most welcome.
Love that the demo didn't break. It was a good one.
Oh, it broke so many times before. So yeah. So yeah, let's see if we have any other questions on YouTube before we wrap up. Oh, Matt is saying LinkedIn as a channel has been more negatively impacted by AI spam than emails. Well,
LinkedIn is building their own AI spam, right? So they have their own like I'm not sure if people are using their default reply tos or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. My experience, spam has always been everywhere. By the way, you're muted, Leo. For you.
yeah, surf that. Yeah, I'm just checking our channel to see if we have more questions. 1 second. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's take this one. It's going to be the last one. Uh, would you agree that AI agents are required to stay ahead of the curve in growth and sales revenue for all businesses during this technology revolution? That's a big one. What do you say,
Um,
Mika?
well, I'm building them, so I do agree. But in a nutshell, I think so. It's kind of like not like I don't know what people have in their heads when they think about AI agents, but I think about like AI empowering humans, meaning like with the research, with the unique insights that you have in your CRM, with the unique insights that happen in the world every 24 hours, with the unique insights about their pain points in past conversations. That's how I think about AI agents, and I think I would agree with that, meaning like I think it's almost like the internet comes along and you're like, I don't believe in the internet. I'm not going to adopt that for like distribution. So like, I don't believe in email. Email is not a channel that people use. So I'm not going to use that channel. I don't believe in researching through the internet. So like, right. So I'm just going to keep going to the library. That's like, you can make that decision, but like, if you made that decision, you're left behind. And I think similarly, like you have like everybody will be using AI, right? Every single person, meaning schools, like will teach kids how to use AI, like they teach kids how to use computers, right? Or and the internet, right? So I do agree with that. It's kind of like it's and it's again depends on what you have in your head about like I think it's like not everybody has like the same concept of like what AI agents are or copilots are. To me, AI is just technology that allows us to kind of like gain like unique insights, parse millions of data points like at a speed that is like not human speed, much faster than what we can do. And I believe it's ultimately about like allowing you or giving you the space to be more human and more creative and less robotic. Because automation and the way that we operate today has always been about almost like very robotic, right? Until we can actually start a conversation. So here it's kind of like give more time to people to be more sophisticated. I think the more sophisticated sales teams will win, right? I think the distribution game is a tough one. And if you're building a company, distribution of your services or your product is kind of like one of the biggest problems or the biggest challenge that you have. And thus, anything that gives you an edge, you should leverage. And I think AI will can give you, when well adopted, when well used, can give you an edge.
I couldn't agree more. Just my 2 cents on this question. I don't really like the mindset. Maybe it's just a poor phrasing, yeah?
Mhm, mhm,
Because like, would you agree agents are required to stay ahead? Because going back to the point that you made, Mika, about invisible AI,
mhm,
yeah? By the
mhm,
way, I'm gonna steal that from you. Invisible AI.
mhm,
I love that. Because it's not about the question is all about, that feature-based mindset.
mhm.
Yeah, the AI agents are not required. Yeah, but bringing something that makes your product better, yeah, is required. Bringing something that makes your product more easy to use, more intuitive, that makes your product like, generate more value for your customers, whether or not it's going to be AI or something else, is required for sure. Yeah. But the answer, are AI agents required? Probably yes. Yeah, because they just, opened up a whole new opportunity for just, making things more efficient. Um, yeah, but I just, didn't like the phrasing a lot. So it's, again, we shouldn't be thinking about, oh, let's bring more AI agents. Yeah. We should be thinking about why. Yeah.
Solve
What
problems, right? Start
what
with the
problem
problem.
we're
What is the
trying to
problem?
solve.
Yeah,
Yeah.
agree.
What impact we're trying to make.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep, yep,
What
yep.
kind of, yeah, how are we helping our customers?
Yeah. And by the way, I come at this from like the sales standpoint, meaning like leveraging AI in sales to help you with research. Meaning like I don't think like everybody needs to be building an AI agent into their product at all.
Absolutely.
But it's also about technology, like just like iteration cycle of technology.
Yeah, yeah,
And if you're solving, just understanding the problem that you're solving and whether this is needed or not.
yeah.
I think that's the most important thing.
Just we ran out of time, but I just wanted to say that I have a few real examples from companies that actually brought AI to their products and their processes and made things worse. Yeah.
Yeah.
For example, they brought AI to the wrong place. Yeah. they over-engineered things where they could have just used, a simple automation or a
Mhm.
simple
Yep,
process,
yep, yep, yep,
but they brought AI and they actually, they cost spiked.
yep.
Yeah. And the output, the quality of the output actually dropped. So, what's the point? Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like again, AI is not
It's
a
not a silver
once.
bullet. Yeah.
It's
It's
not a
not the
silver
silver.
bullet. Yeah, good, good,
Yeah.
good, good, good one. Yeah.
All right. Well, that was a great session. I really loved it. Yeah, thank you so much, Mika.
Thank you for
I
having me.
learned a lot. I learned a lot, and I
Same
hope
here.
that our audience also, yeah, enjoyed it. So, yeah, I just wanted to, uh, yeah, one second. I'm not sure if I want to drop something to the chat. Is there a way I can make it? Just wanted to share my contacts. Just one sec. Just open our YouTube page.
Do you want me to drop my? I can drop my email there too.
Oh yeah, so perfect. Yeah, I have access to the chat. I just wanted to drop my email and a couple of links for people who, for example, want to sign up for our beta of our Copilot. Just one sec.
So just dropped it.
Awesome. Yeah, for some reason I cannot send the message. Oh yeah, wonderful. I did. All right. Can you see my links in the chat, Mika?
I can just refresh in the chat. I don't. I cannot for you. I'm not sure why.
No?
Mm-mm. Wait, give me a second. Maybe it's talk chat. Maybe it's just like wait.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's all right. I think that yeah, someone else dropped them
Okay,
a little bit
perfect.
ago. Okay, perfect. Yeah. So let's wrap up. Yeah, thanks a lot, everybody, for joining. And yeah, have a great week. Yeah, and yeah, please, use AI smart. Yeah, and yeah, let's use invisible AI.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and have
Yeah,
a
thanks
good
a
rest
lot.
of your day and a beautiful week.